What is up, everybody? Caelum here with another quick replay analysis. This time we're going to be looking at a Juggernaut game. Once again, this was requested on the Learn Dota 2 subreddit. Great place to go for having your questions answered, and anything Dota related really helps you get better. But anyway, we're going to be looking at Tilt and his Juggernaut performance. He was worried that he may have been the reason that his team lost this game, so we're going to do a quick replay analysis and see if that really is the case. So just by his post and the earlier, or my look at the graph right now, it's pretty easy to tell that they did in fact win the early game pretty handily. I mean, at the 25-minute mark, they're about 15k net worth ahead and about 10k experience ahead, so it looks like they were doing really well in that department. But at around the 35-minute mark, this is when it looks like things go pretty bad. The Radiant starts pulling it back, and eventually they do manage to win. So that's about where we're going to start, right in this 30-minute range. And without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So this is the first place I wanted to pick up. This is at the 30-minute mark, as you can obviously tell by the top up here. And this would be the probably first mistake that leads to the downfall of the game as a whole. So if we look here, they go ahead and pick off Venge, which is good. But then immediately after it, we're going to see them smoke up, and nothing happens with this smoke. And that's the big problem. Legion Commander pings it out. They did it right under a ward that Venge had just placed. He even says smoke. So at this point in time, they should have just taken Roche. Taking Roche on would have been way better here. You basically guarantee yourself the next one, or you basically guarantee yourself to win the next fight, and they can't stop you. They're down a hero, they're scared because they know you're smoked, so you should have just taken Roche at this point, and then used that advantage to push to the game victory. You could have done it. You were still pretty far ahead at this point, but this would probably be the first mistake that led to the overall loss. So this would be the next point we want to be at. It's literally just like 10 seconds later. We can see Juggernaut's all alone bottom, and the rest of his team is top, and this is the problem. They immediately pick off the Nyx Assassin, and then the team still tries to fight. Now, number one, two big problems with this. Number one, the team should not have stuck around. The second that Nyx even started getting initiated on, they should have got out of there. They're already down numbers. They don't have the potential to fight at this point. They're not. They're down numbers, like I said previously. Monkey King never actually helps out. He just leaves like he should have. Luna and Jakiro will try to fight, but ultimately just end up dying. And Juggernaut is solo pushing bottom. So what they definitely should have done here is Juggernaut should have stuck with the team. You should have been with the rest of your team, so when you got initiated on, you at least had a chance to fight. Or yeah, that was really it. Actually, that's what probably should have happened, because if we watch further, Luna and Jakiro die. They take out the Legion Commander, but it's not that great. Monkey King eventually makes it out, and then they just rotate bottom, attempt stop Juggernaut's push, and then, as we're going to see here in a second, they kill the Juggernaut. So, I mean, really, didn't even push bot very well, and the team lost an insane amount of gold because of it. Even just the Juggernaut kill, 1200 gold change. So it definitely needed to stick together more as a team. So the next point I want to make here is 32 minutes in, just after the bad fight. The Radiant, they do take the objective. They realize that they have the advantage now, and they're pushing the objectives. So they're taking your tier 1 here, and they do successfully end up doing this. But I just wanted to look at this because when you guys were ahead, you didn't push any objectives. You didn't take Roshan, you didn't pressure the towers, you kind of just smoked up and sat back. So that was one big problem that I noticed. Just the sloppy team play. It didn't look like, obviously I wasn't in the game so I can't tell for sure, but it didn't look like you guys had a shot caller at any point in time. No one was really saying guys, let's group up and do this, guys, let's smoke and go here. When something, when a plan would go wrong or not execute well, there was really no backup plan. So that's another issue that was with this loss in the end. Your team wasn't able to, rally around someone. There was no one who was leading the rest of the team. So just about a minute after that, we're going to watch Luna and Nyx Assassin initiate onto these two. And so this is another misplay Evidently, Chaos Knight comes in, and boom, he's dead. So, I mean, you're down your Luna, and then if we keep watching here for a second, you're going to come in, the Juggernaut, and things do not go well. Omni Slash onto 2, which is decent, but then the Chaos Knight comes in, and then everything just goes bad. Your entire team gets wiped here, and so that's a really bad fight. So that's another thing I want to bring up. The fight there was terrible. You guys shouldn't have gone in after you lost your Luna. You knew Chaos Knight's illusions were out, you knew the entire team was in that area, so it was just a bad choice to fight. So a better recognition of when to fight, I guess, would be a point to take out of this. And really, there was no way to avoid this. I mean, you should have avoided taking the fight, but when Luna died right here, that could have been prevented by better warding. Obviously, nothing you really could have done about that. That was Jakiro. Probably should have had aggressive wards up, since you guys should have been looking to push and end the game. But instead, all your wards are pretty defensive. You have one right here watching the rune, one up here because of the recent push that was happening, and then one up here watching your shrine. So no real good wards to help you guys take advantage of your superior position in this game. If we just go ahead and look at the graphs, it's pretty obvious that this is the majority of the point where the comeback starts to happen. So the gold is already starting to tick up, as well as the experience. It's getting even closer. So if we go about a minute into the future, we see, once again, the Radiant is taking objectives while they're down. Evidently, or while you guys are down. Evidently, it's like when you take 3 of them and they team wipe you, it's going to be far easier for them to take objectives. But still, as I was saying earlier, like when you had that pick off and didn't do anything with it, that was a huge mistake. And then we see this other big mistake. The team decides to fight, and there's only 3 of them alive. You're going into a 3v5. They should have waited for the rest of the team, because they don't defend the racks. They just feed 2 lives. And if we speed things up a little bit here, they end up taking bottom racks and mid racks. And that could have been easily avoided if the team would have stuck together there, waited for more respawns. Because there, evidently the 2 people just instantly died. You can no longer fight, even though all of you are back. Sure, you would have lost your bottom racks, but if you just waited for the entire team, then you would have been able to defend the mid racks as well, and then you're only down 1 rack as opposed to 2. It's like sacrificing a piece in chess. Yeah, you might lose that piece, but you're going to get a better play out of it in the end. And that's what should have happened here. Sacrifice the bottom racks to protect the mid racks. So the next point I want to make here real quick, Radiant is taking Roche at the 37-minute mark. Dire has been up. They've all been alive now for about 30 seconds. And Radiant obviously is just going to take this Roche. There's nothing that Dire can do to stop it. But that's just another thing, like what I was saying earlier. Radiant took advantage. They knew, alright, we just took these 2 racks. This is perfect. We can go take another objective, which would be Roche in this case. So they did. They made the most out of their advantage. Even if it was just for that little bit of time, they still had the advantage, so they made the most out of it by taking Roche. Alright, so we're at the 38-minute mark, and just want to point out real quick, you guys decided to take this fight at the Tier 2 tower, even though it just fell. So, number 1, probably shouldn't be taking this fight off your high ground in the first place, because they do have the Aegis. I think it's on the Legion Commander, but I'm not 100% sure. Yep, it is on the Legion Commander. So you don't really want to be taking this fight, because they evidently have the Aegis advantage. Not to mention that on even this even ground by the Tier 2, you don't really have any way to counter the Aegis advantage. If they had to push up high ground, it might have been a little better, but still, you don't really want to fight them with the Aegis. Now, sometimes you can obviously take a fight with a team, even if they have the Aegis, but at this point in time, you guys were not far ahead enough to do that. So here, if we just watch this fight, we're going to zoom out a little bit. You do kill the Venge down here, which is decent, but I mean, we can see up top here, your team, it looks really good, but then Chaos Knight ults, and it just doesn't go well for your team at all. You guys have traded 2 for 2 right now, you buy back. And that's kind of how the fight ends, basically. Everybody else makes it out. And it turned out alright, but it definitely could have been better. Like, if that fight would have taken place where they had to push high ground, They would have been way more condensed for Jakira's Macro Pyre. Nyx Assassin wouldn't have been so far out. Monkey King's ultimate would have also been far more condensed right in this area. Your Omni Slash probably would not have been able to solo kill the Venge, but then your Blade Fury would have done more damage to them grouped up. I mean, evidently the Chaos Knight illusions are the problem, and the more grouped up they are, the more you can use your AoE on both the illusions and all the rest of the heroes. So, while it's not ideal, once again, this fight probably wasn't the best. So here, 42-minute mark, we're going to see a fight where you guys take it. So evidently, you guys still have the potential to win fights, as, well, evidenced by this here fight. So it's not like you guys were so far behind, they had made such a huge comeback that it was impossible for you guys to win. You were still doing pretty decent. The only main problem was team play issues. Like miscommunication and bad fights, like going in once the majority of the team had died. So if you can, I know it's hard, but making sure that your team is listening to you. If no one is calling shots, make sure you're that person saying, hey guys, we have to take Roche now, we just picked one of them off. Hey guys, pull back, we just lost a hero, we shouldn't fight that. Hey, wait for everyone to respawn before we defend. You know, just simple stuff like that. That can really make the difference in a game. So we're here at the 43-minute mark. You guys have taken that fight and taken the pushed the objective with it, which is good, fantastic. So you're going to end up taking this middle racks and the bottom racks. The one thing I do want to point out, though, is there is no vision on the map. You guys have no wards anywhere. If we go to the shop, never mind, it doesn't tell me there if they're in stock or not. But if I had to guess, I would assume all 4 are in stock. Nobody has any wards except for Jakiro, who has 1 that he's had for the longest time. I mean, vision wins games. The next point I'm going to make after this is heavily reliant on vision. So, I mean, just make sure you have wards up. Sometimes supports will just be like, I don't want to put wards up. They just don't want to. I don't know what to tell you there. You just gotta try. But wards, you definitely need vision on the map. So just make sure that you're at least asking your supports for wards. So like I was saying about this, the next point involving vision, here we go. Juggernaut is solo pushing top, and he has no idea that there are these 3 heroes here. So that's going to be a huge problem. He spins, but instantly gets bashed, and then gets pulled back. Stunned and killed. So, number 1, really 2 things here. Number 1, Juggernaut should not have been alone here. He should not have been alone pushing into no vision while they didn't know where the enemy team was. That was a huge issue. Number 2, obviously, as I've said multiple times now, no wards. There's no vision on the map. So there was no way to know where the enemy team was. I mean, granted, should Juggernaut have been there? No. But should have been wards up somewhere. So here we see, following the Juggernaut pick off top, Radiant decides to push for high ground. Dire does a pretty good job. They almost killed Avenge, but not quite. And then they manage to kill the Nyx Assassin, who buys back. They come in and try to fight, but Luna's ult's been popped. You can't really do much at this point. You don't really have too many huge things. They're getting pushed back. They do manage to kill the Troll Warlord, but, I mean, they get mega creeps, and that's basically where the game ends. So with that in mind, even with the defense here, they do end up losing the game if we just go to, I think it's the 47-minute mark where the game ends, just about. Nope. Like 48. There we go. So the 48-minute mark, they're going to have their final push in here. They're going to fight, so we're just going to put this while we review everything that we've gone over. So, overall, this team lost because of poor team coordination and because of bad shot calling, or the lack thereof. To answer Juggernaut's question from the original Reddit post, no, it was not your fault that your team lost. I mean, there's definitely things you personally could have done better. Like, if we look at your item build, you have so much damage and no survivability. Something like a Butterfly or a Heart or a Scotty, anything to give you more tankiness would have been far better than this MKB. I mean, just looking at the other team, Puck, what the, oh, Troll Warlord, sorry, it's bug. Troll the Warlord obviously has the butterfly, so the MKB would have been good there. Other than that, there's nobody with any sort of evasion, so I guess if you wanted to keep the MKB, replace the Mantis style or the Echo Saber, either one of those, Heart or Scotty or any tank or butterfly, anything like that would have been better. Even a BKB could have been better in this situation, so just maybe better item choices. Also, getting picked off top didn't really help, so better map awareness could be something you could work on. Those are just two things that you could personally work on, but overall, no, it was not your fault. Your team just had bad coordination. So to just review everything that we went over in this quick review, didn't look like there was anybody calling shots on your team, so just make sure that somebody is communicating with the rest of the team. Someone is going to have to step up as leader in games. Whether that's, as I said before, saying things like, yo guys, don't go in, we just lost a few players, this is a bad fight, or wait for everyone to respawn before we defend, or even, yo, we just got a pickup, let's go take Roche. Somebody needs to be communicating that, because even those few simple things could have drastically changed the outcome of this game. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. This has been Caelum with a replay analysis. Check out my channel for more content like this, and I'll see you next time.